Monday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns are on the road to take on the Denver Broncos. My best bets are on the way. In this video, I got a player prop, I have a parlay, and of course, I'll talk about who I think wins and covers in this game. If you are new, my name's Austin. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we begin the video recapping how we've done so far betting the NFL so far this week, and specifically for Sunday. And it has been a frustrating day. We're 3-5, and I'll talk about it. We cashed one of our 2-unit plays, which was James Conner's over at rush yards. What did he end up with, like 70? Easy winner there. Mike Evans came through for 1 unit. CJ Stroud, a half-unit play. I will start from the bottom. Jake Elliott ended with 6 kicking points. Warren wasn't involved in the running game really until like the end of the first half. I don't know what he did to Arthur Smith. Tyler Algier got 8 rush attempts, whatever. He didn't come through, wasn't efficient. And Kamara was just a bad read. Really, this week stemmed to CMC. As I record this, he just entered the locker room. He was looking like a sweat-free winner. And the hard part is it was a 2-unit play. And so we split our 2-unit ones. That one was looking like a winner. He had 67 rushing and receiving yards with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Then he goes down with an injury. It's part of the game, but just frustrating. That really swung, but would have been a decent day for us into a bad day for us. And that's just kind of how the NFL works sometimes. We haven't had a lot of luck this season, but you know what? Let's turn that around with a good 1-0 Monday Night Football. And I'll dive into my favorite pick in 1 second. In the middle of this video, we'll have an Underdog fantasy play where I try to turn $25 into $100. So stay tuned for that. Underdog right now, they have a free square for you. Jameis Winston to get you 1 yard. Of course, Underdog, you guys know we love them. We do play a lot of things on their app. It's a very popular daily fantasy app available in a bunch of different U.S. states. So check it out. Reminder code COS will also get you that free square and a match on your first deposit up to $1,000. Check it out. We love Underdog. I'll talk with them in probably a couple minutes. But I'm going to dive into my favorite play of this week. And let's hopefully end with a 1-0 day because that CMC one, man, seeing him just slide down, go non-contact injury. Brutal. Let's go to another running back who, similar to CMC, was coming back from a big injury. Let's hope he doesn't get injured here, but I do like his under. It's Nick Chubb. I like his under 56.5 rushing yards, -110 on DraftKings. I'd play this down to about 52, 51.5. I don't really like Nick Chubb's matchup tonight, and I'll talk about it in just one moment. Like I said, you could take the rush attempts under, which is 15.5, but Chubb has the potential to get 20 rush attempts and not hit this line. That's how bad he's kind of been so far this season. Knock on wood, that continues. Since Chubb returned, obviously back from his gruesome injury last year, he hasn't been great in 5 weeks. He's had 22, 52, 39, 50, and 59 rushing yards. So he's only gone over in one of those games. He's averaging just 3 yards per carry. If the Browns do tend to trail in this game, we know how pass-happy that offense is. And also, he's just not playing 100% of the snaps. He got the most snaps he saw last week, but that was a Thursday night game, divisional game against the Steelers. A lot of juice for him, and they pretty much led the majority of that game. So a very good game script for him to get rush attempts, and he barely squeaked over this line. But you look at him, he's really struggling. Only 6% missed tackle rate, averaging just 2 yards after contact per attempt. It's just not a good spot for him. He hasn't been running too hard, but also a terrible spot for him in this matchup. Since week 7, Denver, fewest rushing yards allowed per game with the 3rd highest stuff rate. So again, they're stuffing a lot of runs, which means you're basically stuffed at the line of scrimmage, and he's not breaking tackles, Nick Chubb. So it's going to be tough for him to get it done. And it's not just since week 7 that this defense has been good. It's really been since week 2. After week 2, since week 3, only 2 running backs are over this line. J.K. Dobbins and Derrick Henry. Those guys saw 25 and 23 rushing attempts. Look, if Nick Chubb gets to 25 rush attempts, I'll admit we're probably cooked. But again, his line's 15.5, so I don't expect that to happen. We know this Browns offense, unless it's in a snowstorm and a blizzard, they're going to throw it a bunch, and especially if they get down in this game, given that they're 5.5, 6-point underdogs here, could see them get trailing in this one. And I just don't see them having a ton of success stringing together drives against this Broncos defense. It's just a really tough passing attack. They're also passing defense. They're also down Cedric Tillman, one of their best wide receivers. So again, I just don't see a big spot for Nick Chubb. He's going to have to break off a big run, in my opinion, to beat us. I just don't see it happening. So hopefully Nick Chubb goes under. My favorite prop in this game, under 56.5 rushing yards. Here's a couple of the props I did look at, and I'll throw them all up on the screen. In my Underdog entry, again, you put these 4 legs together, $25 into $100. Pretty cool. A reminder, you can get even more money than that. If you sign up using my code COS, they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000, and you'll get a Jameis Winston free square. So you can replace the first leg in here, which is Jameis to throw an interception. I really looked at this one. I don't like taking interception props for more than a half unit. So putting a half unit on a -140 just didn't really make sense to me. But I do think he throws an interception. We know Jameis. He's a gunslinger. He'll put the ball in harm's way. I think he's throwing it a ton. His pass attempts lines in at like 34.5. He's going to be slinging it, and I think one of them eventually finds the Broncos' hands. David Njoku, I took him down to 30 receiving yards. I think he's going to be heavily involved here. I wish I could take an alt receptions line here, but I think Njoku gets involved big time here. Coming off, he had a drop or two last week in the snow. I'll cut him some slack. I mean, if you're not going to target Pat Surtain, I like Njoku over the middle. Chubb, I raised his line, which is a cool thing on Underdog. You can raise lines up. I took him up to 70. So I don't think he gets under 56. I think he goes under 56 and a half. Surely think he goes under 70. Then finally, Bo Nix under interceptions. He's been really good at not turning the ball over. Not Broncos, Bears. Geez, I was saying all the B's. Bengals, no. Browns, they really haven't had a ton of interceptions this season. So I don't know if they're getting one for Bo Nix, who's been doing a really good job at protecting the ball. Knock on wood, he continues that on Monday Night Football. So again, those four together, $25 and a little over 100. I'll take a stab at that. I like a lot of those props. Some of them might be a little bit too juiced, so I'll throw them in a parlay and see how it goes. A reminder, Underdog Fantasy, use code COS. They'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. Finally, I wrap up the video talking about who I think wins and covers in this game. Gun to my head, you guys know I don't bet a lot of spreads. Gun to my head, I do lean the Broncos. Now, I will note, Logan, we talked about this game earlier this week. He leaned the Browns. So do what you want with that. Maybe you want to fade Logan. Maybe you're part of that clan. But I like the Broncos more than the Browns here. I think this Broncos team is playing inspired. The Browns don't have a lot to play for. They woke up for a big game against the Steelers. But again, this could be a spot where they just get absolutely trounced. I feel like a similar scenario to this game. Look to the Commanders and Titans game. Titans, big time victory as an underdog against who did they play the week before? Against the Texans the week before. Then the next week against the Commanders, not in their division, smoked. And I could see a similar thing happening here with the Browns, where they just don't wake up with that competitive juice. Whereas this is a Broncos team that's fighting for wins, fighting to make the playoffs. And I think they could just punch them in the mouth. I don't know if the Browns bounce back. I mean, not in a divisional game, in a game that, well, let's be honest, the Browns don't got much to play for. I would lean towards the Broncos. Not my favorite spread pick of the week, but that is where I would put my money. I'm not putting on Jameis Winston, although I do love him. I root for him. Just hope there was a pick for my entry. But again, I would lean the Broncos in this one. Logan like the Browns. You can listen to his analysis in that NFL Week 13 Best Bets video posted, I think, on Thursday at night. But again, I like the Broncos in this spot. Over-under-wise, I don't really have a great lean there. You never really know with these two teams. Either it's high scoring or you ain't even getting any points. So we'll see how that one goes. But as for my only official pick in this video, it's Nick Chubb under 56.5 rush yards. Get well soon to CMC. There is a chance, I guess, that he returned in that game. And if he did, I will happily update my record, but just did not look good when you go down with a non-contact injury, slamming your helmet against the bench. That's never a good look. So apologies that we just haven't had the best NFL season so far. Not much we can do there. Hey, we're just going to keep moving on, putting a smile on our face, and keep trudging along. Like I said, last year we dominated the back half of the year. We won over 20 units. Let's try to get into a groove hopefully next week. And hopefully it starts actually with a 1-0 Monday Night Football. So again, appreciate you guys for tuning in. A reminder, use code COS, sign up. You get a match on your first deposit up to $1,000 plus the Jameis Winston free square. And again, our NBA Best Bets video, one that is live on Monday morning. I will link it here. Been doing pretty well over the last few days. Hopefully can continue that going into this new week. Have a great Monday. Have a great start to your week back from the holidays. And I'll see you guys back again in the next one. It's Austin. I'm signing out. Peace.